I will start in a minute. I just want to make sure that got everything going like my sound. But listen, tonight I want to talk to you about holding on to your dreams. Listen to me. 1 second. And I got a great story that I want to tell you guys about holding on to your dreams and the importance of holding on to your dreams because it's easy to let it go. Um, but let me get Facebook up and running, okay? I appreciate you guys, all my YouTube family. All right. All right. I got to make sure I don't forget the tag. Man, I constantly forget the tag. All righty. Let's see what we got. Make sure all my settings are correct. All righty, man. What's going on? How you guys are doing? Listen, I want to talk to you tonight about holding on to your dreams. And I'm going to give Facebook time to get a crowd audience on. And if you can, do a watch party for me. Throw me some love. Throw me a watch party. Let me make sure my sound right. What do I sound like? Alrighty. Alright, let's see what I sound like. Okay, I'm good. Listen, I want to talk to you guys tonight about holding on to your dream. Young people, listen to me. This is really not just for young people. This is for a lot of people in my age group. But I got two stories I want to tell you, but they're going to merge. They make sense, okay? So listen to me. When I turned 40, it's certain time in your life for the people who hadn't already reached that point. You start like questioning, like, what am I here for? Like, I mean, for real, you literally start like feeling like time is running out. So when I turned 40, I just got into a different space. I got into a different place. And I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. But I've been at my current employer at that time for 10 years. So I turned 40 and, I just got this like yearning. I've had it always, but it seemed like it magnifies because birthdays tend to bring about mortality. The older you get, the more your mortality comes into, focus. You're like, man, I'm 45 now, I'm 55, I'm 65. Everyone try to say that's young, but you know what I mean. But anyway, so I turned 40 and it was a guy who I worked for. He was my direct report. I mean, high up the food chain. He was the CIO, Chief Information Officer, and I was, I am what I am, but I reported directly to him. And so when I was actually, I'm having my little life questioning moments or whatever, I literally go to him and I was like, because he's up in his 50s and stuff. And, we talk and I was like, you got any advice that you would tell me? I'm 40 years old. What advice would you tell me? He told me, he said, don't quit your job, Larry. That was number one. He said, don't quit your job. He laughed. He said, just don't quit your job. He said, because you're going to feel like you want to go out and create and you want to go out and don't quit your job. And, he said a bunch of other stuff, but that was the gist of it. He said, don't quit your job. So I was like, oh, okay, don't quit my job. All right. And, I took it and ran with it, and it was what it was. So time went on. This is part two of the story where word came down from the ownership of the company that they was getting ready to chop heads, that it was some executives getting ready to go. And his name came up. So his name came up on the chopping block, and basically they did him a solid and said, okay, we're going to give you this amount of time to find employment, which was a real good deal because, many of you, if you ain't never been let go, you just walk in one day and, hey, Johnny, especially in Georgia. Georgia is a right to work state. They don't have to have calls. They can let you go, point blank, period. So they gave him like a 3-month period to pretty much see if I may be off, but whatever, to see if he could find employment. I mean, he's a high wage earner, So as time went on, that time period came fast, and it came to an end, and he didn't find a job. So his last day came, and he came in my office and shut the door and just professionally told me that, Larry, I just want to tell you I appreciate you. I appreciate you for always being a professional. I appreciate you for, you know, doing your job. And I told him thank you, and I asked him as a man, like, so what are you gonna do? And literally, when I asked him that, he said, I may find me a franchise, but I just need me a job. I mean, I need me a job. And he like broke down and like about to cry. Now he was like 50, in his 50s, and like literally, man, like that shook me up. What that made me realize, and this is for all you guys, that I don't want to be like that. Now this was the same man who gave me advice on keeping my job. Don't quit your job. This was the same guy. Eventually got let go and broke down, and he walked up the hall and ended up having a real massive breakdown in one of the offices. But it was to the point where he was like, he didn't know what he was going to do as a man. Forget employee, forget, VP, forget CEO, CIO, CTO, whatever you are. But as a man, he was lost without a job. And at that point, I decided I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be chained to anyone's job. I don't want to be a victim of anyone else's decisions but my own. I don't. So that's when I decided I was going to be an entrepreneur. And right now I'm not full time because I have to have a job until the business portion of what I do take off and the different things that I'm involved in. But today I want to tell you guys something. Listen to me. Hold on to your dreams. Do not listen to this advice from so-called expert or people that you look up to, because they may be a victim of their own belief system and they're telling you erroneous information. Basically, they dead wrong and they telling you wrong stuff. That guy told me a bunch of bull, and he literally broke down as a man and cried. He couldn't even walk out the place with dignity because of his uncertainty of the future. Now listen, I preach this, and I'm going to tell you this straightforward right now. Your faith, number one, is in God. This is your head, lead, partner in all of this, right? But number two is in you and your ability. The things that you know, the things that you can do. I always tell my son when he was working with me, I would tell him, I said, listen, you have more confidence in a job than you do in your ability. You have more confidence in a job than you do in the source. You see what I'm saying? I want you guys to wholeheartedly stay on your grind. Do not allow your dreams to die based on information or based on advice from these so-called experts. You may not know exactly what you're doing right now. And I mean this, and I say this with everything in me, because a lot of times when we try to do our dreams and we try to build our stuff, we don't know what we're doing. We really don't. And we feel bad at times because we don't know what we're doing. But listen, keep going. You will figure the things out. You will figure some of these things out if you keep going and keep learning. Because it's a process. Get it? No one goes to the 12th grade immediately as soon as they walk in the door. No one becomes a millionaire immediately as soon as they get in business. They have to learn. That's why they take you through kindergarten, the first, the second, the third, because it's a process. You're going through a process right now. If you're like me and you're in the middle of your grind and you're hustling and trying to do your thing, you're trying to build something, and you may not even know what you're trying to build. You just know it's a burning, unquenching thirst inside of you that you cannot get quenched with your job, with this world. You know it's something greater. Okay? So, my push for you today. If someone's told you something and they've knocked you down, and they've said, well, and you had an idea, because this is what dream killers do. You have a lot of people out there who are dream killers, and it's not intentional. Get that part. They're not trying to do it on purpose. That's what they believe. That's what they believe. When you start talking about these things, if you're like me, you don't have many people to talk to. It gets uncomfortable when you start talking about the things that you believe inside of you. People don't really understand. They cannot get it. Okay, but if you start talking about the job, you start talking about the things that everybody else talk about, then everybody is comfortable. It's like, okay, we can breathe now. But when I'm standing there talking about the future and talking about you need a hustle, talking about your uncertainty in the future that's coming, that you cannot count on Social Security, you cannot count on your company's pension, you cannot count on what you think you can count on, everybody get uncomfortable. And I'm bringing forth the reality. Okay, so it's just like somebody talking about money. People don't like to talk about money. No one wants to talk about how much they make. No one wants to talk about credit scores. No one wants to talk about debt. No one wants to talk about that. They like to keep that hidden. So if I bust out and say, yeah, man, I got $200,000 in debt, man, I'm paying this and I make that and I'm paying this and I make $300,000 a year, everybody get kind of froze up. I mean, these are not real numbers, y'all, but I'm just saying. Okay, so listen, and I'm done. Hold on to your dreams, family. Please do that for me. Do not allow uncertainty. Do not allow the people that you look up to kill your dreams because they may not even have any. Grant Cardone say this. He says naysayers. This is why he's my homie. I like him. He says naysayers are individuals who have given up on their dreams and they want you to give up on yours. So they're looking for justification why they gave up on theirs. So they tell you something to kill your dream to say, see what I'm saying? That's why you just need to get your job and just worry about working there and just do that. Don't be trying to get out here. You know, this is how it is. This in the cards. You see? So that's one of the things he teach that I'm really, really, really all in for, man. Don't trust the naysayers. Don't believe the people who sit in there. And sometimes people who are ahead of you in the game, folks who, and I want you to get this for real, man. Listen to me. The people who are ahead of you in the game can discourage you, but it's not their intentions. So like, if you see somebody who's far ahead of you in the process and they made $1 million and they happy. And you like, man, I'm feeling, man. I ain't make no. Listen, no. What you should do is use their growth as motivation for you. Ask them the things that they did. And most of the time, the most key thing is the time spent. Almost everybody sees the tip of the iceberg. They never see everything that went on, how much time, everything that they did in the process, late at night, up 3 o'clock in the morning, working 2 jobs. No one ever sees that, right? The brutality that comes along with trying to build something outside of the norm, outside of what's normal and everybody love. All right. So that's for you today. Hold on to your dreams, family. I mean that with everything in me. I mean that. The people that give you advice, most of the time, they don't know what they talking about. So they can't really give you advice. They haven't built businesses. They haven't chased dreams. So how they going to tell you? All right. So stop listening to them. Okay. This Larry, man, I appreciate you guys with this late night session and everyone who watch it on the rewatch. Listen, thank you guys so much for all your support. Don't forget my book, Quarter of My Truth, guys. If you want to help me out, buy a copy of it. I'm thinking about doing something special for the soldiers Monday. I am. All right, man. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm going to talk to you all next time. Peace.